And leveling blows on the system is necessary if you want to build people power. When we talk about abolition, restitution, reparations, land back, we can look at the American Museum of Natural History and say, you have land, give it back. You can say you have ancestors locked up in cages, free the ancestors. And you can organize direct action in such a way that you do a media intervention in which we can tell these narratives nationally and globally. But more importantly, we can communicate transnationally, which our movements are necessary. When we see the police precinct burn, that was a sign for the world that we're ready to do something, that we're ready to take risks. And when we see NYPD cop cars burn, we celebrate it. Because no people have ever gotten free by demanding it. You have to do it. And power does not concede it without leveling blows in which it is actually untenable for them. Therefore, strategically, we have to become ungovernable. Direct action is paths to ungovernability. So now I'll just say a few things about, let's say, when we're marching. Someone organizes a march. You have to roll an affinity. You have to take on the responsibility based on a set of privileges. What can you do to add? Yes. You have to know what kind of community street agreements are in play. You don't use each other as shields, right? And you don't fuck up other people's neighborhoods. But you definitely see the cops going this way, and then you do something over there. 2, marches are great, but any act, if it's repetitive, it's no longer radical. So, the manifestations of large numbers in the street is a sign that the institutions and the system isn't legitimate, because legitimacy is all you all and you're in the street. So it communicates that. But at the same time, the moment that you're led by cops, it becomes problematic, right? The moment that the cops are behind you, it becomes problematic. So there isn't a rule. There's just like, how can we keep pushing? And we need to recognize, not all resistance is helpful. Forget protests. We're into resistance right now and liberation. Resistance, sometimes, if it's ineffective, it props up the status quo. And that's what they push us to do. They don't want to stamp out resistance. They just want it to be law. And that other people that come and participate in it realize that's not where it's at, so they move on.
It's not just about Trump. It's both parties. It's this whole system. It's your fucking city council members. It's the real estate board in New York. It's the Police Benevolent Association. Yo, if you're talking about defunding don't mean nothing if the goal is in abolition. You're supposed to be defunding. Listen, you're supposed to be defunding in order to make the police obsolete. Obsolete. You can take $1 billion from them. You can take $3 billion from them. It don't matter. It don't matter. Decolonization place was talking earlier about the museums and so forth. A lot of these places, BET even, all these people that even hashtag Black Lives Matter even, are funneling money to the NYPD. They get $6 billion of our tax dollars, and then in addition to that, they get countless hundreds of millions, maybe even billions more from their foundation. They go to Israel and train them on how to oppress Palestinians. They go throughout the country and train them how to do that shit. So I'm talking about black power, I'm talking about abolition. What's the mission? Abolition. What's the mission? Abolition. What's the mission? Abolition. Just the same way in which they use subsidies to move white folks to the suburbs, to move white folks to Oklahoma, which was supposed to be native land, right? Move white folks into Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, which was all native land at one point. They subsidized that, right? They doing the same thing to the hood. They got this shit called 421A, right? They chromo did. We don't got no chromosexuals in here, do we? Bet. They got this thing called 421A that they use to subsidize all these big towering glass monstrosities that we see jumping up everywhere around here, right? And then that entices people to move in here. That shows you that gentrification is not some inevitable cycle. It is planned and purposely done. It is our planned removal, the same way they removed the Lenape from this land, the same way they moved all the other indigenous nations over to the west and then put them on reservations. They want to do the same thing to us, except for our reservations of the projects. Our reservations of Brownsville, Far Rockaway, Jamaica. Get them out the fucking way. And then the fact that crime has been the lowest it's been in 70 years and they still continue to expand the police force? What the fuck does that tell you? What the fuck does that tell you? Who are they here to protect? They're here to protect property. Keep that in mind when you resist it. We got 70,000 plus people on the streets of New York who are without homes. But yet we have 250,000 vacant luxury apartments. That is capitalism at its finest.
Direct action is important because it stretches the imagination. There's been a war on the imagination since the beginning of the founding of this country.
The blessings in which you this day rejoice are not enjoyed in common.
There are actual people out there having fucking cookouts, celebrating this country. Somebody tried to stop us and be like, why are y'all making a scene? We're about to have a cookout on Prospect Park. Even though we're out here fighting because our black brothers and sisters has been being killed for centuries.